welcome back to Animation Triad, or if you're new here, just welcome. I'm Lish.
Aaron.
I'm Stu.
And we have a very special guest with us today. This is Kaitlin.
Hello, everybody.
And we are here to discuss, well, if the title of the thing didn't give it away, hopefully this will let you know. We are discussing Sailor Moon, but specifically we are discussing Sailor Moon Crystal because it's a little easier for these guys to get through since it's only three seasons right now.
A lot less filler.
Oh, God.
A lot less filler, but that also means in some cases there's less chance for character development.
Very
That's
true.
true.
Very true.
So let's actually just kind of start with our overall impression here. Obviously, I love it, or I wouldn't be hosting it.
Yeah.
But what did you all think?
Well, when Sailor Moon was on, when I was watching it, I got pulled into it when it was the original series, and for the most part, I always viewed Sailor Moon as like the female version of Dragon Ball Z. That was what girls were supposed to go after. So that was like I respected it in that portion.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have some characters that I definitely like, namely Sailor Mars. That was like my favorite one, only because, like I said, anybody who's doing anything with fire, and I like Mars as a planet, so it was good to go.
In the original or in the new?
In the original, but the new one, where I got to get interested with Crystal, is that the new one actually brought more depth for that character.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that's where I feel about for it. I mean, it does some good things for some of the characters. But as far as I'm concerned with, I definitely did still like the original one better.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. I never really watched it too much growing up. I mean, I catch the occasional odd episode.
Mm-hmm.
I know my sister had a couple, one or two VHS maybe of it
It's
somewhere.
sisters for us all.
Yeah.
Not all.
I remember catching it mostly on TV. I remember there being like, I think this was when they were introducing Sailor Pluto.
Mm.
I do remember that, and I remember the evil Chibi Moon,
Yeah.
Lady Darkness, or
Black
The Black
Lady.
Lady.
Yeah.
the Black Lady. That just sounds.
Honey.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I'm paying for that one.
There you go,
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
It wasn't a tangent, except
No,
we are,
I just
we are
feel bad now. I have to.
Crystal.
So tangent jar go. Oh wow.
Really? It's not your fault they named her
They named
that.
her Black Lady.
That's
they
their
did.
fault.
Mhm.
They should be paying us,
I
right?
mean,
There.
she went from being small lady, right?
Then
Yeah.
again, Stuart's red face is its own reward.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's okay.
I'm not sorry.
Oh good lord. So
Well,
yeah,
what
I
did you
remember
think of
that.
The new one.
The new
What do you
one,
think of the new one?
Yeah.
a lot
Crystal.
more concise. I will say this: I originally watched it in Japanese when it first aired.
Mhm.
I
For
saw the original run of it on Crunchyroll.
Nice.
So that was a couple years back, year or two,
yeah,
just a
something
couple
like
years.
Uh-huh.
And I remember watching it in Japanese, and my first thought was, I'm a little surprised with the animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Tell
is a
us
big.
more.
Okay, so for some of it, you get this really looks more hand drawn. Some of it.
Yeah.
But then you get the transformations, which go all CG, and I
Yeah,
have mixed feelings about CG and anime. Sometimes it works well, sometimes not so much. With this one, the transformations sometimes looked very
Off.
like a cutscene from an anime, from a video game,
There you
Yeah.
go.
like
That's
one of the earlier ones.
Hopefully, I could still be okay with that, but I've got my own, which I'll discuss
Mhm.
later.
Okay.
Another issue I had with it was just the proportions for some of the characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
is-
I see what you're saying.
I guess the closest thing I can compare it to would be like Clamp.
Yeah.
They've got the Clamp body syndrome where their arms and legs are so long that it looks like Slender Man is possessing them.
Yeah. Ugh.
Which
Yes.
I'm now getting mental images of Slender Man in a sailor
In a
outfit,
sailor
and
costume.
I'm paying for that one too. I'm on a roll today, folks.
There you go.
And Caitlin, what did you think of Crystal?
Okay, so I guess to give everybody a little bit of backstory, I followed the original Sailor Moon all the way up into Stars. So I've seen I've seen all of the episodes. I've read all of the manga. I've read it like maybe 5 different times. I watched Crystal through with the sub, and I rewatched it with the dub, and the dub is only like through the 2nd season. So I think that pretty much I agree with what everybody said. The transformation sequences got better as the seasons went on. Like the first one, it was like, oh my gosh, Sailor Moon. Oh my gosh, that's so pink. Oh my god, that looks really 3D. But then when you get to like Uranus's and Neptune's transformations, they are really, really pretty. They are really well done, and it's just like, okay, they're getting it right. As far as the character development goes, I think there was actually more here than in the original. Why? Because Crystal is based more so on the manga. So that's why they look the way they do. Because if you look at the manga and you look at, the styles from the manga and the styles from Crystal, they're actually very similar. Like, they have very slender arms. They have very long, slender legs.
Okay.
They have, like, the faces are a little bit small, but it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
So, like, what we think of, like, Sailor Moon to be as is kind of like the 90s version.
Yeah.
Oh,
the 90s.
Be comfortable with who you are, not too slender. But the author actually, like, made them slender for, to be,
They
like,
were
more
very
appealing.
lanky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they were very lanky.
She wanted them to be more appealing in that sense.
Okay.
But, I mean, overall, like, I really enjoyed it a lot. It was like watching the manga come to life on TV. So I was very happy.
It kind of was, and I have to say, though, I'm probably not going to be very helpful to either the viewers or you guys right now, but I'm so on the fence about Crystal. Like, on the one hand, I love it because they did try to create animation that would look like the manga and that would really reflect the beauty in the illustrations and the richness in the characters. I also like that it's, in a sense, Sailor Moon's greatest hits. But that also kind of means that it has a little trouble standing on its own, in my opinion. Because I'm realizing as I'm looking at it, like, I'm so happy seeing them act out a scene from the manga, or kind of create a hybrid between the 90s cartoon, which I grew up on and I loved, and I watched the whole thing. I saw it originally in English dub, and then I went back and watched it all with Japanese and the English subtitles. But and then Crystal watched the whole thing Japanese subtitles, and then watched it in the dub, because why not?
Right.
Fun fact about that later. But I kind of feel like anybody coming into this show, into Crystal, without any prior Sailor Moon knowledge, is going to have a hard time following it.
I actually don't think so. I think
feel like it's a little abrupt in spots.
maybe in some spots, but I think it's just more. Well, let's look at a lot of anime series nowadays. Most of the anime that come out nowadays have 13 to 12 episodes, roughly.
That's
All right? So people are more used to shorter series, all right?
They're getting used to it.
Well, they're getting used to it, let's put it that way. Now,
they don't like it.
Exactly.
And trust me, I'm with you on that one.
Right.
Ugh. So, that's a rant unto itself, folks, and we'll get to that eventually. But, one thing you have to keep in mind is we grew up watching the series. I mean, it's going to be cultural. I mean, even if you didn't grow up watching it, chances are you know about it. It's the same with Dragon Ball Z. Even if you didn't watch it, you know the basic gist of it. Oh, Goku, Super Saiyan, gold hair, Frieza, very effeminate looking alien monster.
Right.
Yeah, Sailor Moon, girls in miniskirts fighting monsters.
Effeminate looking
monsters. Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So, it's just, we grew up with that, alright?
Yes.
A lot of the people who get into it now didn't.
True.
I know.
So
but
I think
that's
that
exactly why I think it's a little harder.
I think they have less baggage to deal with.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not as much filler.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I'm on the fence, because I feel like it could have a little more going on,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
but not quite as much as the original 90s cartoon. Like the Monster of the Week that the 90s cartoon did get old after a while, because when I was rewatching it, I'm like, can't we skip out, like, kind of whittle away some of these monsters of the week and get straight to the character development? Because I feel like once they did in the original 90s, I hate to compare, but you can't take an original and a remake and not compare. So
Very true.
I kind of feel like in the original there was so much Monster of the Week that it takes away from the true development of the characters. The one that I will say developed fantastically in Crystal is Sailor Moon herself, Usagi. Watching her go from a hyper crybaby to somebody who takes the world on her shoulders. And she doesn't lose her goofiness, which I think is amazing. She's still goofy. She's still that wonderful person that everybody made friends with. But we do kind of take away a lot of the extraneous crybabiness.
She becomes a little bit more goal oriented. That's what
She's more worthy of the title Queen in Crystal than she was in the 90s cartoon. But I feel like the finishes were so much bigger in the 90s cartoon.
Yes, they were.
I think it's because they back then they contributed to being more. It was Sailor Moon, just like Dragon Ball Z, became more like an event. I feel as though that was one of the main event animes for girls growing up, and it was like, well, I mean, I don't know about your story, but for me, because it was had a lot more episodes and more more certain like movies and stuff was coming out for that original series, I got pulled in it because my sister was going after it for that month. Going after that series.
My sister was passively into it, but other than that, I mean, it was more of just my sister's an artist, so she would buy comic books to see if she could mimic the art stuff, and she also did that for some Sailor Moon stuff. I mean, my parents would occasionally, they knew I liked some anime, like Pokemon and stuff like that, so if they went to a shop and they saw like a cheap VHS movie or something, they'd buy me, and that's actually how I ended up getting Tenchi Muyo, actually. So,
Same.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's just a tangent.
that's a tangent.
Tenchi has nothing to do with
No,
this.
nothing at all, except it was up. They were both on Toonami, I think.
Yep.
Right.
But
go ahead.
one thing you did mention that I do want to bring up was you mentioned the Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
I think that's something we should address in this series. The monsters.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's less Monster of the
there
Week
is
in Crystal.
There are definitely less Monsters of the Week.
Yeah.
But I thought the monster designs in the original
Very creative.
were very, very creative. These ones, not so much.
I think that's probably the problem with the series as a whole, as far as I'm concerned. Is the animation in general. Is that it's just not near it. It has it for some parts in the series, but for the mass majority, I feel as though there was like maybe a step down as far as I was concerned for animation. That's how I feel about it.
See, the animation, I can kind of get on board with what you guys are saying, but for a different reason.
Okay.
It's not anything to do with creativity. It's not anything to do with aesthetics. For me, it's everything to do with movement.
Yes.
I don't care that the arms are long and lanky, as long as they appear to move within reason.
Exactly.
But the problem is with, like, especially with the transformation sequences in Crystal, it's almost like the arms are rubber, which I kind of have a problem with. They move too much. There's arcing in the forearm that shouldn't be there when Sailor Moon's arms are coming up. It shouldn't do that. Also, never bring a hand toward a face. I feel like I'm being slapped, okay? I'm like, I flinch every time. I'm like, nah. Fast forward to the naked part with the sparkles. Not that I actually care about that, but it's better than the hand.
She pauses it.
Huh. Anyway. But seriously, the animation is stiff, in my opinion.
I agree.
It doesn't flow like a normal human body. It moves almost outside the laws of nature, but then moves in a very kind of jilted, syncopated way.
Yeah.
I think the term you're looking for is uncanny valley effect.
Sure.
It's generally when something is drawn or is made to look human, but doesn't act quite right.
Exactly.
So it's off slightly.
But I think that's just like during the transformations though, because like when they're running, like there's a lot of running.
There is, but I don't feel a sense of urgency when they're running. I feel like they're doing it in slow motion, like David Hasselhoff from Baywatch.
Really?
I really do. Like in the original '90s cartoon, when they would run, I felt like a sense of urgency. They are running, they are going, they are doing.
But I think it's also
But
the music.
this
though,
one,
too.
they're also like, oh my god, the music, yeah.
Because like
Everything in the show is kind of like drenched in molasses, in my opinion.
I mean, and I am a really like big fan of like the music used for Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you think about the '90s show, like they would be da da da,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it'd be fast, da 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 da,
Yeah.
right?
A lot more up-tempo.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this one doesn't. It's more
Down tempo, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of.
yeah, it's more
Legato.
it has more melody to it. There we go.
Mhm.
There's like a word for that, but I can't
Right.
think of it.
Well,
Well,
it's also slower and more drawn out. It's kind of
Mhm.
legato.
Well, what about the commercial breaks segments? All right, so you know how they have like in the original ones it was Sailor Moon and all that.
Yeah.
That's just for the that's just for the Japanese, but yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
well that's
Yeah,
what
I
I've
could
been
have
watching
done
most.
without that. I'll be honest.
That was creepy
In the original,
In the
no,
original
that's what I
Japanese.
mean. I could have done without that. Yeah,
but I mean,
you're
even
fine.
when it was in the American stuff, they had
Yeah.
like an upbeat tempo to it. Now in Crystal, if memory serves, I don't really focus too much on the. It's always kind of more of a yeah.
bouncy.
Yeah.
It's a little.
And it's like French.
You know what? Yeah.
It is very
Yeah,
French,
you get a
but that's
French
because
feel
they
to
do
it.
that in the manga.
Yes.
That's because they do foreign languages in the manga. They'll
Yeah.
just
Like
let's see,
insert.
because
I-
this one is actually in Japanese. So let me see if I can find one here. Apparently not. Oh well. But like sometimes when they break in the scenes, I don't know if you guys can see this. Sometimes when they break in a scene, they'll have like this really beautiful drawing in the manga, and sometimes they'll name the act or whatever, but it'll be in another language.
Mhm.
So if it's written in Japanese, they'll write it in English or they'll write it in French or something like that. And so they kind of tried to recreate that
Mhm.
in Crystal, but I don't know, maybe that's partly contributing to the pacing issue for me, because even though it's shorter,
Mhm.
I feel like there are some spots where it drags.
I need to interject there because we need to go back to the Monster of the Week thing too.
Mhm.
Because if you actually look at the series itself, there really aren't that many monsters.
Mm.
Like it's really
Crystal?
no, just like in the manga itself, like there aren't
Right.
that
Yeah.
many.
Right.
So when you think about like the '90s version of it, they took a lot of liberties, and like they were trying to
Mhm.
make a. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're
Like-
good. I put my elbow in your space. Sorry.
Like they were trying to think of a formula almost like Dragon Ball Z, where
Exactly.
it's just like, you know, how can we make it so that these kids keep watching this more and more and more and more?
Yes.
And it was having more and more and more, you know, monsters that we kind of really didn't need. Yes, they were very creative,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
but
Boobs. Snow boobs. Snow boobs.
What about the one that was just basically tires?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The-
Oh no, that was like a legit thing. I thought.
Yeah, the one
The-
turned
from-
into a spider. There was another
From
one
that was
that
from
was like
Later on.
Super.
Yeah.
No, from S with
the
with the Uranus.
yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows.
I got it all
She
over.
knows it.
Right, I got it all over here.
She's
That's
a member
why
of the
we
Church of
brought
Sailor
in the
Moon.
All up here.
We brought the expert.
We
But
brought
there's
a
also
member of the
another
Church of
one.
Sailor Moon.
From
Encyclopedia Moon.
Stars, but that was from
The Sailor Stars?
Yeah, from Sailor Stars with Seiya, and they were trying to find out
Yeah.
the star seeds or something.
Yeah.
But anywho, not a tangent.
No.
but,
No. It's
That's why we didn't call you on it. You're good.
You're good.
But like the biggest thing was how can we get more people to like buy into the franchise?
Drama.
But
More drama. I love those big finishes.
Yeah.
and I
Those
mean
big
like
finishes like destroyed my life and then rebuilt it. I love those big finishes.
but then I mean if you think about even with the character development, like in Crystal, it was very. Oh, she started like this. She met Usagi. They became friends.
And I like that
And,
it's simplified like that.
It's very simplified. And the idea behind Crystal and behind the original manga is, as a young woman, you start off one way, you however that might be. You might be like the shy girl. You might be like the girl that nobody talks to, but in finding yourself and like being able to connect with other people, you can grow to be something, that's just amazing.
Right.
And I mean, you saw that in the original series, but it was more so goofy. It wasn't as serious.
Exactly.
It was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a slumber party, and then like I think it was in Super. No, it wasn't Super. It was in Sailor Moon S. It was a really random filler where Serena. I guess she was
Usagi.
Serena there. But
Yeah.
Usagi, she decided to be like the ninja of love for Rei and like stopped. I forget what his name is. I think it's like Chad. I forget what the Japanese name is.
American, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
But-
such a Chad.
But he was like in the
Yes.
bathhouse and she was like I think she was trying to find him, and then I think Mamoru Darien was also
Yeah.
in there too, and
Yeah.
she was trying to figure out what he was doing. It was just a lot going on. It was like a big filler. And it was just like this was like funny. Like don't get me wrong, this was super duper funny. And I think that's the thing that like sets the 90s version versus the current version apart, is that one is just more serious. Like the manga itself is more serious. It doesn't have as many laughs. It's more about character development than, oh, ha 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 ha, you're being a ninja. You're dressing up and actually like stalking your boyfriend because you're like, what is he doing here? Why is he after Ray? You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
That makes sense.
I mean, and I agree with your points, but like for me, there are pros and cons to each series, okay? Because with the 90s series, I feel like it gives people more of a chance to really get attached to these characters. See that Serena Usagi, as goofy as she has her serious points when it comes down to business. Not only can she bring it, but she can bring it hard, and sometimes she's the only one who can bring it.
Mm-hmm.
She's also kind of like Charlie Brown in the 90s series. Everyone shits on her for no apparent reason. No wonder she cries all the time.
Yeah, like they're really mean.
No wonder she cries all the time.
In the original, they weren't that mean.
No.
Right.
They were not that mean.
Right, and that's something that I actually really like about Crystal, is they still maintain her goofy crybaby integrity, but they show that her friends actually care about her. And that's what I like about the new one. I like about the new one that it shows how devoted they are to her, not only as friends, but also as guardians.
Yes.
Her relationship with Mamo is a little healthier.
Yeah.
And by a little, I mean like
lot.
a lot.
Can I mention one thing about Mamu?
Mm.
When he's first introduced in Crystal,
Yes.
Yes.
Crystal. So,
Maybe.
I thought you were going to mention this.
I am going to mention this. He is literally wearing his tuxedo mask suit, minus the hat
Yeah.
and the suit, which means
And
he
the mask.
and the
No
mask,
goggles.
Yeah.
No goggles.
the
yeah.
goggle thingies.
Yeah.
So he's just wearing the suit
Sure.
when she bumps into him,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, this guy.
How the hell
You're
did they
walking-
not notice the meatballs and the pigtails and not?
Well, yeah, that
Yeah.
too. But
There
here's
you
the
go.
thing, like. This guy's walking around dressed like frickin' Count Dracula, basically.
Pretty much. And they never actually like explain
They never
where
do.
No,
he
they
was
never
going
know.
to or coming
Like,
from.
it was, I mean, okay, we can just assume it's Japan
crystals.
cosplay. I guess that's one thing you could throw out there. It's Japan cosplay.
He
But
could
he
have been
wasn't,
going
though.
to
He
a
was- I
gala
know.
though, because he was older. He goes to things.
But he's in high school.
Yeah.
Why would
Which
you
is
go to a
nice.
gala?
Which is I don't know.
There is one thing I
He
do.
goes to a special school. Why wouldn't he go to a gala?
That's true.
Okay, fair
That
enough.
is
We'll go
true.
there.
He does go to his, yeah. That's
Okay, so there's one
top
thing
of his class.
I do want to. There is one thing
that
I think we should
affords a
bring up.
gala sometimes.
That's true.
There's one thing I
Yeah.
do want to bring up, which I thought was very interesting. Once they discover who the princess is,
Mhm.
Surprise!
it's the main character. Go figure. But
There was some deception there. But
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
get
there
into
was,
that.
but
We'll
yeah.
get into
That was-
that. So go ahead.
everyone knows about that pretty much, and we're just going to assume
Oh.
spoilers otherwise.
We're,
So
we're not going to assume, but
Yeah.
I do want you to
All right,
state
so-
your point here.
I thought it was interesting that you had a little bit of back and forth problems with Usagi
Mhm.
and her being the reincarnation.
Yes.
The identity issue.
Yeah.
When her body starts to literally look more begins to her hair starts to grow and becomes to
Yeah.
look more like the princess. She actually does seem to be having the issue of am I still me?
Yeah.
Yes.
And everything. I thought that was fascinating and something I don't think was ever really brought up in the original series.
No,
No,
it's
it
not.
wasn't.
And I'm like,
Oh.
that right there, I think, is fascinating. I think that's something they really could have worked on more. Maybe.
I agree.
Now I
Like
haven't
they-
gotten too far into Crystal, so maybe they do. So you tell me.
Actually, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the original, when she first turned into
She didn't wanna do
Princess Serenity, she was like, "Who, me?
it. Yeah.
I'm the princess? Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
me of all people?" And she actually did deny it in her head, but
Good.
she didn't have time to actually process that she was the princess because
Tuxedo Mask.
Tuxedo Mask got taken.
And that's when she decided she didn't want to do it in the original. Remember?
Mhm.
She's like, I don't want to be a moon princess, Sailor Moon,
anything.
anything.
I just
Yeah.
want to be like
Normal
normal
girl.
girl.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Uh-huh.
well, what are you gonna do? And they didn't you didn't actually see her hair grow,
Mhm.
Right. There was
in
no
Crystal.
Rapunzel shit going on.
Right, she
Yeah.
she did not physically turn into the Moon Princess, but it kind of got talked about, but not in the same
Okay,
way.
'cause
Right.
I honestly don't remember.
No, but it was one of those things
Not.
that kind of was
Mhm.
yeah, we touched on it, but we keep going
Okay.
because
Was this
we
the,
need
the
to bring.
series or was this the movies?
No, this was
No,
the series.
series.
This was
Mhm.
Series,
the
okay.
original Sailor
It
Moon.
was the series.
But no, I don't blame
Mhm.
you. I'm just saying that this was one of those things that was kind of touched upon,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't actually experience her anguish in the same way. You didn't actually get to see the hair growth.
Yeah.
You didn't actually get to see the girls trying to help her through that time.
You didn't
Right.
see her being that despondent and everything.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite interesting.
She was all over the place, but again, it was played off more humorously.
Okay.
Because after she's the princess and Tuxedo Mask is captured,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
she can't focus at school.
Yeah.
She's always sleeping. But again, it's portrayed in the 90s in a more humorous way,
Mhm.
whereas this it's
She's the
displayed as clinical depression.
Yeah.
Now
she's
we've
depressed.
mentioned Tuxedo Mask being captured.
Yes.
Now can we discuss who did some of the capturing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please do.
We have
We do.
The barrel.
the
Dolls.
original,
Doubles, courtesy of Lish.
indeed, Queen Beryl, or as
got really
I'm
into
going to refer to her, the original Queen Bee.
Ah,
I've been waiting a while to make that joke.
I wondered.
Yes,
He
I
said
have.
he had a few cheesy ones for us. And
Oh,
here they are.
I do. And Queen Beryl, I remember her from the original series. I do. I didn't remember the evil force from
Yeah.
Crystal. Was
Yeah.
she in the?
Yeah, she was.
She was?
But
Okay.
she wasn't
Natalia?
really talked
She
about.
wasn't named.
She wasn't
She wasn't
named?
named.
It was
She
just the
just
black thing that.
She was just this entity that would talk to Queen Beryl, and after a while,
Yeah,
I
it
started to
sounded
wonder.
Ah.
Yeah.
And I kind of started to wonder if it was all just in her head, but until they fused,
Yeah.
Right. Which is
fucking
funny.
Jasper
But
Lapis
it's
into like
type
malachite.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Which is funny.
Yes,
'cause
she moves.
Spoiler.
She does.
She dies in Crystal.
Spoiler, she dies in all of them.
Ah!
Yeah, but oh no, dude.
No.
Respect other people's property.
I dropped it on the lap. I thought it'd be fine. Sorry. Sorry, I apologize.
You be nice to my ginger.
Hey, we have proof that gingers don't have souls now.
Cause it's a dog. Okay, that was a tangent. We just went on a tangent,
We
y'all.
did.
Yeah, we did.
We all did.
Yeah.
That was a tangent.
Alright.
Oh no.
There we go. Yay, teamwork.
Yay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to drop it.
It's okay.
Okay, so,
Though she got more character development in Crystal than she did in the original.
And I
Yes,
loved
yes,
that.
we did.
Long way.
And I loved that. I also loved the character development for the four kings, the
Mhm.
four knights. But I'm not gonna lie, I miss the romance between Joyce and Malachite.
Really?
Yes,
I
I
know
miss
that was
it.
like fake.
I don't care. I don't care. I loved it. I loved that they had their
Their romance.
yes.
Though,
Villain love. I loved it. Some of the best fillers.
actually, I will say that, like, as a kid, well, because I thought that Zoisite was a chick.
Well,
Because
yeah.
they made voice actress a girl, and they portrayed him as a she.
That's
They
yeah.
couldn't handle,
mhm.
you know, two guys. But that love was real, though.
Mhm.
Like,
It was
in the,
so
in,
real.
in the anime, in the 90s, that was real.
It was real.
It might have been fake, but it was real.
Yeah.
I loved it. I don't care if it wasn't in the manga. I loved that it was a
And then he was
thing.
walking away with the little rose petals that flew
Oh.
away. I was like,
Oh.
I'm like, dang! Like,
I do remember that. I
When
do
I
remember.
die, can somebody, like, do that for me?
I promise. I'll be like,
Right. I was like, oh,
And we're making pigeon
it's
sounds at the same time.
That was so cute. That was like so real.
So cool.
That was real love. y'all.
it was.
That was real.
It was realer than Serena and Darian in the 90s one. It was. It was. They were. He's a shitbag in the 90s one. He's
He was.
terrible. He's terrible.
but
I
see,
can't root
he's
for
a-
them in the
they're
90s one.
Let's be clear though. He's a teenager. We
Mhm.
can't.
He was a college student in the 90s one.
He grew to be a college student. He
Still,
was still in
he
high school.
he
and
didn't
he
need
went
to
to
be
college.
mean to her.
But
Uh-uh.
teenage boys are
Uh-uh.
mean.
I don't care.
Teenage boys
No.
are mean.
They don't get a pass. They don't get to
Okay.
pull my pigtails unless, But
It's okay.
I love that she's got a healthier relationship with Mamo
Yeah.
Mhm.
in the new one. Because he's actually very tender toward her. He doesn't like that she's always running into him,
Yeah.
Mhm.
literally colliding,
And
With
throwing
him?
papers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's nicer about it.
very much so.
And, but there's one thing, whether it's the manga, whether it's the 90s one, whether it is the Crystal one, why the weird ancestress thing between Mamo and Chibi?
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. I got you on this one. I can explain this one.
No.
I know, that's weird. That's weird to say.
No,
That is
please
weird to
do.
say.
Please do.
Because, okay, think about Chibi Usa's relationship with Usagi, and then think about Chibi Usa's relationship with her mom. Did she ever actually see Usagi as her mom? No. She always saw her as like an older sister because her mom was so magnificent and was
Right.
so gracious. And it's like, how the hell are you my mom? Like,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
not. Like,
Mhm.
Right.
so she always, like, she saw her as like a friend / like older sister.
yeah.
Mhm.
And think about how Mamo treated her when she first got to like the 20th century.
Very kind.
He was
understanding.
very kind
Yeah.
to her. She, she wasn't used to people being kind to her. I mean, she was used to people being falsely kind to her, not
Mhm.
like genuinely kind to her.
Yeah.
And
Except
it was,
her parents.
well, I mean, yeah, but it was like parental love.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would be, because like, you think about how King Endymion talked to her. He never called her Chibi Usa. He called her small lady.
Yeah.
He's like, small lady this, small lady that. So even going back in time, it was like, oh, well, like, I know you're my dad, but you're not my dad.
I just don't like that.
I mean, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to support it.
Electra!
I'm not supporting it, but I'm just saying that from her standpoint, and they never told her, hey, these are your parents. You know what I mean? Like, they never said that until
years of therapy later.
But she already knew that was her dad. Like, she knew at that point. And then she goes Black Lady, and she just straight up,
weird.
like, hypnotizes him and, like, starts making out with him. And you know what? He takes it.
No, because he was hypnotized.
No excuse.
He was hypnotized. He can't help that. That's like when Diamond kissed Usagi. Usagi's like, I can't move from this.
Yeah, but that's just it. She tried. She tried.
Safe zone.
But
I knew he wasn't trying on the inside. How do you know? He wasn't going, oh my god!
No, why is Chibiusa trying to, like, screw her dad? I mean,
because she didn't think of him as her dad. That's why.
It's just...
She was just Mamo-chan. Oh, he was Mamo-chan.
I got one more.
It's just so bad.
I got one more thing I gotta ask about Mamo-chan, and maybe you can explain this to me, alright?
Okay.
So, he's on a quest to find a silver crystal
Yes.
to regain his memories, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which he lost when he was, how old?
Like 6 or 7. He was
6
young.
or 7. Okay, so, pardon my French, and I do apologize for this, viewers, but what the fuck did he lose exactly?
He lost his memories.
Yeah.
His memories.
At age 6, I mean, he
because he was in
forgot
a car accident.
I know. My point is, you're fucking 6 years old. You forgot.
He didn't know his name. They had to tell him.
I know.
I just.
He didn't have.
I get what you're saying.
What?
I'm
He
like,
forgot how to potty trained?
Hold on. I get what you're saying, but I have a very strong theory on this. First of all, yeah, he didn't have any memories to go on. He didn't even know his own name. All he knew was that he woke up one day, didn't know who he was, discovered his parents were dead.
Yeah.
And then he's going into foster care. He doesn't know why. Suddenly he's having these weird
How does he even
dreams.
know?
Suddenly he's having these weird dreams about a princess telling him to get a fucking crystal. And so he's like, this is the only thing I have. This is the only thing I have. Everybody else is just telling me stories that I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wakes up and finds out his parents are dead.
Yeah.
How does he know anything about his parents?
Because they're telling
Because
it to
they
him.
told
Yes, but here's
him.
the thing. Like, if he has no knowledge of who they are, how can he feel sad about
Because
losing someone?
it's your parent. Like,
He doesn't know who they are.
or even
That's what I'm
still,
saying.
I'm gonna get
it's kind of
real.
like foster kids.
I think the best way you
I'm gonna get real here. Therapy session is in. I never got to meet my father.
Mhm.
Explains everything, right? I never got to meet my father.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that there's not, like,
You don't have feelings
something going on
for him.
for me. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like there's still a sense of loss, whether you met them or not, whether you remember them or not.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing that they're not around can
That
kind of
hurts.
leave a hole in your heart.
Okay, I suppose I'm not
He
going to
was-
disagree
like,
with that.
the
I'm
thing
just
was,
I
he
just
didn't
always
have
thought it
any
was odd.
memories,
I just
and he
attributed
was
it to
left alone.
I always attributed it the same way like Rose
Yeah.
Quartz and Steven. That's the same
Yeah.
way I
Yeah,
attributed it.
exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
All you hear are the stories. Yeah. It made perfect sense to me. This poor guy, and then he's having dreams. I'm like, why are you chasing your dreams? And at first I was like, why? It's a girl in a dress telling you to buy a big diamond.
No,
You know? But then later on, it's like, that's all he has. And it's recurring. And I believe the culture can actually be a little superstitious. So if it's recurring, and it's the only thing you have to go on, then it's gotta mean something. And it turns out that it does.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that was just my one little thing. I was just like, you're 6, so. But that was just it.
No, it's fine. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not much of a hang up. It was just something I thought was a little odd.
Right, but I think
Yeah.
a lot of people have actually thought that. My husband thought that. My mom actually thought that when she watched some of the series with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was like, he's
What?
6. Like, how does he even, like, why does this matter? And I'm like,
It's like, but just imagine being a
I get
6-year-old,
it. I get it.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh wow, like little 6-year-old you doesn't have memories.
Right.
Little 6-year-old you just got told you don't got parents, and they're shipping you to some place where you don't really know.
Right.
It's just like this idea of like, who are you?
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
are you? Like, there's an identity crisis even in that. Even at 6, like
Yeah.
6-year-old Mamo versus what he was. What, at least like 15, 16-year-old
Mhm.
Mamo.
Yeah.
Like, they interpret that differently, but they're still trying to figure out
yeah.
who they are.
Mm.
Yeah.
Getting
Who
too
they
deep
are.
for a kid's show.
Who they
I'm
are.
just saying.
Who they are, what happened to them, why it happened to them, why does everybody else get to go about their business all happy and normal and they're stuck here with no parents or only some parents.
Have you seen Rose? Sailor Moon Rose, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon R.
Yes,
Yeah, I
they
saw
are.
that. That was the
So
one with
that's
the.
actually a
friend.
really
His little
good
friend, yeah.
theory.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters a little while ago. It was cool.
So, like, even in there, like, you get a sense of him being like, I'm in this hospital, you know,
Right.
who are they? Like, I
Mm.
don't know who I am right now.
Right.
I don't know anything.
Truth
And
be
it was,
told,
like, really sad.
when I saw the movie, didn't know jack about his memory loss.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
As I said, I only learned that from Crystal.
Wow.
I never really knew much
I didn't
about
know.
the original. Yeah. So yeah,
I kind
that
of
actually
have
makes
to,
a lot more sense now with the movie that he didn't have his memories.
Yeah.
Okay. that actually does clear up a lot.
So we've talked a lot about comparison, what we liked, what we didn't like. You know, at least in some facet, we've talked about that. We've talked about the animation,
Yes.
but one of the most important things about the show to me is the character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The characters that are in it. So, favorite characters and why? Least favorite characters and why?
Okay. Got you. Sailor Moon is my favorite.
Yes!
Hands down. Hands down.
Yes!
That, since I was 5 years old, y'all, you don't even know. Like, Sailor Moon's like one of my favorite anime, like, of all time.
Mhm.
Same.
It's up there. Like,
Same.
Naruto is like, it battles sometimes. But I love Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is my favorite because when I was younger, she, like, resonated with me hardcore. Like, you want to talk about crybabies? I cry, like, at a dime. You want to talk about just being kind of annoying sometimes? That can be me. You know, and it's just seeing her progress to be, you know, someone that's reliable, somebody that you can depend on. She is the one named Sailor Moon, haha.
Yes, girl.
But just, like, seeing her transition from this, like, preteen to, by stars, someone, like, yeah, just a very confident woman, confident in herself, confident in her abilities. It was just like, I want to be like that one day, you know, like, I even now try to emulate that to some extent where I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna do me. I have to do me,
Right.
you know, like, I only have my own, like, my own autonomy, my own power to do things. So, yeah, she's, like, hands down my favorite. Let's see.
Least favorite?
Least, that's hard.
It is.
Mhm.
That's
But
very hard.
I still want the answer.
Of the Sailor Scouts?
Of anybody,
Or
but sure.
of the,
You could do Sailor Scouts if you
oh,
think
that's
that's
hard!
easier. Okay, alright. Well,
I think of
we'll
the-
narrow the pool if that's
Of
easier.
the Sailor Scouts, I have to think my least favorite has to be Chibi-Usa.
Yes!
Okay.
You get me!
I
You get me! You
have to say
understand
that. Okay, why? Because
Because she's a brat!
she's so whiny. Like, she's like, and I understand that she's younger,
Mhm.
but even in Crystal, Endymion was like, hey, I've been watching you, and you are such a brat, and I'm sorry that you're such, like, I'm sorry, y'all, that this is happening.
Right.
But, you know, she's the only child, so she's been spoiled.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, but by Super S, I was like,
She got
I
better.
like you now. Like,
Yeah. Right?
I feel like you okay.
Right?
But during R and Super, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you are falling into these tropes, man, and it's just like, no, 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 no. Yeah.
I have to agree though, cause my favorite is also Sailor Moon, but for some of the reasons you mentioned, and then for some different reasons. I can definitely relate to being a crybaby weirdo who can be a little too hyper. But I love her compassion. I love that she tries so hard to give love and understanding not only to her friends but also to her enemies.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to her. She tries to save everyone, even knowing that she can't. She's still gonna try. She comes across so ditzy, so flaky, so shallow and one-dimensional. But then you get to see that depth when she's in her element. And I think she's a queen. She's a goddess.
She is.
She's so amazing.